All right. So today I talked to Dino and Michael. Both are out today. So just a quick recap for James and Rebecca. Dustin, you already know this. Michael and I had been doing this call for about 10 years from 2013 through our almost 11 years, where we would just get on the call every Friday and like go through what we called the roadmap to success, which really is just a loan officer set of boxes that Dino or Benton, maybe you can pull it up here in a minute. And it was like fundamental stuff, right? Hey, knowing your guidelines and like you're your own assistant. How do you run DULP, get a loan in the system? Number one. Number two, like how do you present to a client? Like what does that look like? Number three, how do you call on a realtor? Right? Number four was like how do you organize your time management? And then number five is like how do you actually stay alive in this business and have a life? Like those are like the five big blocks, right? Then everything underneath that was all specialty stuff. Hey, Megan, where are you out of? There she is. You're on mute. Where are
I
you
know, I
from?
just got on. Are you talking to me already?
I am. Where are you from?
How are you? I'm from Philly.
Philly. Oh, awesome. That's right. So we were just talking about today, Dino and Michael Anthony are absent. So we've been doing this call 10 years. So just flash forward real quick. We talked about some basic stuff that we cover, but here is like the big thing moving forward for us doing this on a Wednesday, kind of midweek, was just a switch for all of us. So the goal is super simple: interactive, basic stuff, sales stuff. And then when we close, Benton, who is named Dino Rossetti, and by the way, it says Benton Dodd for me. I'm Brendan Donaldson. Um, we've got about 80 loan officers that are interested in this, and our goal is just to keep it spicy, keep it fun. When Michael and I did it for 10 years, we have essentially, he ran a branch in Atlanta, I run one in Nashville. We would always just have our branches and then bring in guest speakers. So I've had some crazy ass guest speakers that are huge producers. One of my favorite guys is Doug Bateman. He's in Euless. Doug introduced me on how to price and present to clients and have confidence. And I'll never forget. This was like 0405. Dustin. He faxed me his pay log, and his pay log had 31 loans on it, or 32 loans, and the gross revenue was $580,000. And he was on I forget what his split was, but it was insane. It was like an 80-20 split with he worked at a direct lender. So his paycheck was a $500,000 in 1 month. And I was always like, the sky's the limit. And by the way, I think every one of his rates was probably a 0.5% worse, but he is so confident at selling and how he did things. So my point is this: we're always going to have fun. Today, I wanted to share something and then just go around the room quickly and talk about new realtor meetings. I've had three of them. Today is Wednesday. I've had three of them since Monday. Um, and I wanted to get a feel for like, where is your struggle in calling a new realtor? Number one, and hear from each one of you. And then, like, how can we enhance that bait to like have them want to meet with us? And then, like, in that meeting, that first date, Dustin, we know it's like dating, it's like business chemistry. Where are we? Like, what's the focus? Because like someone like Allison Larson, who's killing it right now, she's dialed it into, hey, I meet with female realtors at the same coffee shop. They face the wall, I face looking out. Here is exactly how the first 15 to 20 minutes goes. I let them play the violin. I ask them about their lender. And then I say, hey, would you mind if I told you about me and my team? And then she closes hard and it's working. Like it's working well. Now, that would never work for me. Does that make sense? Like I just can't, like a younger female realtor, I'm 54. Like they're probably just not going to go for it. I've done this 30 years. Like the way she does it works awesome for her. So what I want to do is stimulate each one of you, kind of figure out your approach, and then I'll tell you a little bit about what happened on my three and like follow up, and we'll go from there.
The
So,
first thing I want to throw in there is if we can notice that, like you said, that might not work for you, it works for her. But I think from a higher level perspective, she's doing what works for her, which is, that doesn't mean we should do that. We should do what
sure.
works for us, what we're good
Yeah.
at. You have had that conversation recently. And second, the first thing I heard you say was she controls what she can control. She's
Yes.
got them facing the wall. She's controlling where they meet. It's her home turf. All that because man, it's crazy when you lose control of that meeting, it's gone. Because then
Oh
you're
yeah.
fighting to get control back. Forget the message you're trying to share. You're trying to fight for that control, and it's like, how many
Right.
fronts do you want to fight on in one meeting? Sorry.
No, well, and let me say this. I think the evolution, knowing how she is, that evolution really started from some training. We heard years ago of like Michael Anthony's not on the call today, but like I think when he meets with new realtors, his number one thing he says is, "Hey, what's your biggest struggle in the business right now?" And Michael is always suited up. He's a consummate professional. His voice mesmerizes me still. And he gets them to talk about where their biggest struggle in the business is right now. And I think he even says, "Hey, what is your biggest challenge for you and your business?" And he's broken it down to either lead gen, they just have these listings that are sitting. Like he would talk about, okay, here are the four responses you're going to get, and then how do you dive a little deeper, and then the solution could be, hey, next meeting, why don't we talk about this? Because I think that whatever the problem is, he's got like a very sticky answer, and then he's closing for that second meeting normally for them to maybe come to the office and see a system and ask, hey, would you be against that? Normally they say yes. And then he knows, hey, if meeting two is happening in my office, then like, boom, I've got this next, like, I've got a pretty good, I hit a single. Now I stole second. Okay. Likelihood is I'm going to get a referral. And he does a lot of that just through his listing agents. He's religious about contacting listing agents. And then he's got that bankable, hey, I've closed a loan with them. Now I've gotten permission to meet with them. Now I've opened this up to, hey, what's your biggest struggle or challenge? And he's passed the test of is he reliable or bankable because he gave them 4 or 5 status updates and he sent out notifications and he's just fucking good. Like Michael's good. He can get the appointment. His biggest struggle is why don't I do this more? So, James, when's the last time you met with a new realtor? What was your approach? How did it work?
Well, fortunately, I work in a branch office of Windermere, so I actually have a captive audience here,
Okay.
Which I've never done in my whole career. So there's new people coming in all the time. Um, so I mean, with the new agents that are coming in. On the listing agent though, that's my bread and butter that I go after listing agents on transactions and try to get an appointment with them, give them updates throughout the transaction, message them just like you said, and get that appointment. I guess my weakness is maybe it's not mine, but actually getting them to that appointment because I do what's called a commitment close. I say if I close on time, I give an update every Tuesday. Will you meet with me for coffee afterwards? And they all say yeah. Getting them to that meeting is where I've struggled. So that's kind of where I am.
So you're basically just saying if I do my job, can I meet with you?
Right.
Well,
then,
let me say this, if I'm a listing agent and that's the offer, I'm not hearing a lot in it for me. You were just doing your job.
well, that's a good point.
Yeah, like, you ever go to the Starbucks and then you're like, you buy a bunch of coffee and you buy a bunch of stuff and then they flip that thing over and they're like, tip, and it's like 20%. You're like, wait, am I tipping this guy on buying like 3 bags of coffee and gift cards? Like what? No, I'm not tipping 20% for my order. Like they got me a coffee, I'll give them $1.
So I guess I
Like
got
my
to beef up my value proposition during the transaction.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. I think you now work for a builder. I'm a little confused why you're calling listing agents if you work for a builder.
Oh no, it's not a Windermere is a real estate office.
Okay, so you're inside the real estate office, you're getting regular deals, but then when you get those deals, you have obviously listing agents, buy sides, and then you're pursuing them.
Exactly. Yep.
Got it.
Can I interject real quick?
Sure.
Yep.
There was something on a call about 2 weeks ago, which I loved, and then I loved it even more because it immediately worked. Leaving, what are they called? These survey results or whatever, positive surveys for the listing agents we work with. Of course, our buyers agents and our referral partners, which was the first thing I had to do because I hadn't ever thought to do that before. But I went through and I did it for some listing agents that I had a good experience with, not the ones I don't ever want to see again or hear from again. And the next day I got introduced to a client that we're now under contract with from a listing agent that I'd never done business with before.
Wow, really?
It gave them a reason to reach back out to me. And this is my 21st year doing this. I've never done that. And I was like, man, I've been missing it. I reach out to my listing agents, but the value add of them, when you go on and you see they've got 3 reviews and they've been doing it 7 years, it's big.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that when you work different angles and hearing that and kind of maximizing publicity, I think that that's critical to like building confidence. Like, hey, here's a cool little system, here's a cool little nugget that works. James, my suggestion to you, so they're canceling when you try to give them that final, like, hey, now it's time to meet.
Somewhat. I mean, yeah, I get them on the calendar and I probably met with, I don't know, I didn't do that many transactions last year. I did like, 30 or so.
So when was the last time you met with a new listing agent and it went well?
Probably November, October.
Okay. So you're on a little rough patch of, hey, I've got my current realtors, but I haven't met with a new one.
Yeah.
So let me say this, that if you're very diligent about staying in touch and offering good service, my thought would be a couple of things. If number one, you simply know a little bit more about their business. Number two, you're willing to meet them face to face.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So my thought is I love this. I was waiting for the dog to come to the dog bed, Dustin. Is that somewhere, and we might not have an answer right this minute, but somewhere you have to think about what's in it for them a little bit more, and where whatever solution you're trying to provide could be like beneficial to them. Like, and it might not be a mortgage. It might be that they, like, you look at their business and they have, there's gaps in their business. There's something that they need. And I'll tell you a little bit about one of the ones that I set after this. But I think I don't want to give you just here, try this, try this, try this. I think that you have to go, if my realtor is willing to take that call and they have a contract, or maybe they don't have a contract to close person. Maybe they have 2 listings on the other side of town. You need to know a little bit more like, hey, I would start to mix things up in updates and go, hey, I've been doing a little bit of homework. I saw that you had that listing over on Benton Way, and I saw that it had been on the market for like the last 120 days. What's going on with that right now? Like that would be a great, like, then it's all about them, James. Then they're like, oh my God, like you could literally say, how did you get the listing? They'd go, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. You get them talking and then say, oh man, you told me a couple things. Hey, when this transaction closes, would you be open to a meeting with me? Because I feel like there's a couple things we might be able to do to help you market that property a little bit better and maybe work with the seller. Don't know. Like, again, I'm just playing a fiddle on what do they hear versus just, I did a good job. Now edify me with a 30-minute coffee that you're going to ask me for all my business. And you're not like, I'm a realtor. Unless you tell me you're bringing me leads, I'd be the realtor that would just say, James, man, great job, dude. Just super busy, bro. Got to go. Megan, when was the last time you met with a new realtor and how did it work?
I just met with one, it would have been 2 weeks ago, that was brand new.
Okay.
And that was one where she found us actually on social and she reached out. I answered the phone, so she was happy that we answered the phone.
Nice.
You know, that's a really good thing to do. And then realistically, we got to sit down, learn a little bit more about what she was looking to do. Her thing was specifically around listings, and she was getting partnered with some investors and builders in the area. So there were a number of talking points that we were able to go over with her. Um, and just kind of learning where she was in the business. So I always ask that question, is like, what are your challenges? What's working really well for you? And then
Yeah.
just learning a little bit more about it. I had learned kind of what had changed for her recently that was spurring her ability to then kind of reach out to new lenders and those partnerships.
Nice.
So that was what worked really well. And then from that, we've had at least two referrals now that one was pre-approved. And then we've done a number of open house things that would help her. Specifically, we have some special programs and incentives right now that is helping for your builders and then also the investors if they're sitting on the market. So from that, we did like a social video. I got the property under contract before the holidays, and she was really happy about it.
Wow. That's all happened in 2 weeks?
Uh, that was,
A
no,
month?
hold on. Before that,
I was like, that's a lot. Well, bottom
that
line,
might have been a follow-up.
how about this? She contacted you, you answered the phone, you set the meeting, you diagnosed. I mean, that's like do
Yeah.
that over and over and over if the phone is ringing somehow through your social, right? Because they're pursuing you and it's like, hey, I just asked questions, listened, and then all of a sudden the leads started pouring in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like a golf coach right now. Don't change anything. The ball went straight down the middle. Like, here's the issue.
No, but
Have
I
you,
need to do more myself.
okay. So here's my thought. When they're pursuing you, it's a little different because there was some attraction that she had for you and your business model. So the meeting just confirmed that she was ready to refer you. Um, are you contacting new agents at all?
Not nearly enough. Like there's a lot that will reach out and connect, and that's like totally the thing. I think I've been in that space of just not doing enough of it.
Hmm.
It's
What? So would you be open to a little fun role play? All right,
let's
pretend
go, Brendan.
what part of town do you live in?
So I live outside of Philly,
Okay.
so
What's
Philly
the area
Park,
called?
Audubon.
Audubon. So let's say you went on Zillow after this call and you looked at listings around within a 1 mile radius of where you own, and you just look up and you scroll on Zillow and you see Dustin Nate's Remax, you know, 899. It's been on the market for 35 days. You don't know him? To hell with MMI. Dustin looks good on his photo. I mean, look at that guy. Look at that face. He looks good. And you're
I'm
like,
literally
hey,
on MMI right now. It's hilarious.
yeah, but MMI is one of those things where we talk too much in our head and we pre-screen a bunch of crap. Go back to 1995 and hey, it's a realtor and I want to call him. And you never know the uh outcome. You never know if a realtor had a horrible divorce and their numbers that you're looking at suck. And you're like, I'm not calling them. They don't do any buy sides. And meanwhile, like they're actively doing open houses and they needed your call. So I'm over MMI, so over it. I think it's call reluctance MMI is what it is. All right. So I'm Dustin, the realtor, and before you make this call, what could you say to Dustin who has a listing right near your house? Like, what would be your offer? What do you think Dustin wants to hear? What do you think you want to get across if you don't know him?
So, hey, Dustin,
No,
just
no, no.
looking.
You and I are role playing before we do. We're doing
Oh,
like this is preempt, and then we're going to actually fake the call here in a
all
second.
right, sounds good. So I mean, preemptively, I'm looking to see like, okay, what's been on the market? I have done some of these calls, and then don't get answers.
Okay.
So, what's on the market? what has been sitting for, if something's sitting for more than 2 weeks in our market, that's a problem because actually things are really fast.
Okay.
So what's been sitting on the market, and then, hey, just wanted to so I want to know what's going on with that property. If something's sitting, something's wrong. So then I
Okay.
would just make the phone call from there.
Okay. Something
But
about like, so why is it sitting?
yeah.
But you're obviously a lender, so he's a
Mhm.
realtor. Is there any other like thing in it for him that you could think of that would be like, oh, okay, hey, maybe this will get the meeting? Because I'm thinking it's cold. He doesn't know you. What other things would you want to expose or ask?
Well, so okay, as part of that phone call, the very first thing that I would bring up is like, hey, I saw this property was sitting on the market for the last 17 days. Just curious, what kind of feedback are you getting from the property, right?
Okay.
Hear what he says to that. And then I would say, okay, well, hey, just wanted to bring to your attention. We've got this program that we've built out locally in this market. It's been super successful in other markets. And as a company, we're offering a 1% temporary buy down that's being paid for by us as a lender. For example, I just got a property that was sold after 42 days on market. As soon as they listed this,
Oh,
it
wow. Okay.
gave the buyer $467 a month. Just in that 1 year alone, it was a high
Okay.
value
So now
property.
you're doing the full close as if Dustin answered.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so you
I
asked me, like, what am I going to expose to
okay,
him?
no,
And
that's
that's what I'd
good. That's good
expose.
shit. All right. One last little thing. This is like coaching before the call. You live in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You own in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So what would you say to him? Would you let him know that or no? Or do you care? Do you think he cares?
No, I'd let him know that. But I
Okay.
mean, our agents do like all over the
Okay.
greater Philly area.
Yeah. I guess the thought is here's my sneaky thing. If you decide to do this, you're just helping your own, like, hey, I'm a lender. I live over on 123 ABC Street, about 3 blocks over, 8 blocks over, one neighborhood over. And from time to time, I just kind of scan the market in my own neighborhood. I saw your listing on whatever. He's going to go, oh, like there's a pause. He doesn't know you. He might think you're a buyer. Like you could introduce yourself as the lender,
Yeah.
but he's like, but I'm always this. When we're cold calling, we got to get to the meat and show that spark within 15 to 20 seconds, because otherwise we're going to get what? Uh,
Busy.
hey, 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 oh my God. Yeah, Megan is, yeah, Megan, yeah, I'm in the middle of like 6 things. And it's like, if we really are, if you won the lottery, you'd say, well, then why the fuck did you answer my call? You're not that busy. You answered my call. But that was F-bomb number 2. I'm supposed to keep the F-bombs to a low. Can't have any more. So, all right. So maybe you're in the neighborhood, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, little small talk. And then, hey, I noticed, and then not sure if you're aware, and then you go into that spiel. I
Yeah.
like that. You want to role play
Sure.
it? Here we go. Dustin, you want to be Dustin? Dustin's going to be the realtor.
All right,
Go
cool.
ahead. Ring, ring.
I'll be friendly,
Dustin,
I promise.
ring, ring. Dustin,
Ring,
you're
ring.
answering.
It's Dustin.
Hey, Justin, this is Megan. I just happened to see this property on the market, 123 ABC Street, and I live a couple blocks over. I was just wondering if you could tell me, is this still available?
It is. Are you in the market?
Yeah, so I'm not actually looking right now. I actually live really nearby and just like to kind of keep a scope on what's happening in the market locally and see what's kind of moving and not moving. But you said this one's still available, right?
Correct.
Cool. So I was just curious. Obviously, we live really close by. What's your feedback been with this property? How long has it been on? How long has it been for sale?
About 42 days, and every potential buyer is telling me they hate the neighbors. Something about someone named Megan that lives up the street.
That is terrible to hear.
I'm
We're
just
gonna have to
kidding.
do it. We're gonna have to do a campaign on that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
What do you
know.
want me to say to that?
There are some, no, I couldn't help myself. Sorry. Um, I mean, I can continue the role play, or I can give you my immediate feedback.
Cool.
Uh, and
Love
Yeah,
it.
no, because we know what she was going to say. Go ahead. I like the feedback part.
Yeah.
and I think if we were reversing this, you would say the same thing to me, and I would go, dang it. when I first answer the call from a number I don't recognize, my first thought is freaking recruiters. And then I was like, yes, not a recruiter, because I thought you were a buyer.
Yeah.
My feeling is a realtor is going to be ticked off when they find out you're a lender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt a little bit misled.
Yeah.
And I think a realtor will feel a lot misled.
Yeah.
What's recommendations on that?
You gotta,
Don't mislead them.
yeah, you
We're
gotta leave
also like,
Yeah.
away.
I'd just like to check in because I'm a lender. I've got buyers that are currently looking in the market that are pre-approved in this area.
Yeah, I
As a
would throw in
realtor,
the
what would you
lender
think to
way
that?
early. Be like, hey, I live right up the road. But I happen to also be a lender, and I've helped a lot of my neighbors, move some homes.
Yeah.
And I
Cool.
think right there, you're saying familiar with the area, not disguising who you are or your shadow mission on the call,
Yeah.
and then offering your value.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
like
think
that feedback.
that's great feedback. I think it, saying it quickly and in cadence to where it's
And I'm
it's
also a
friendly.
lender. I happen to be.
Yeah. So ring, Dustin.
Yeah, this is Dustin.
Hey, Dustin, this is Brendan. Hey, I'm calling you. I live about 4 blocks away from your listing on 123 Oak Street, and me and my wife own over there. And hey, number one, congratulations on the listing.
Thanks.
Yeah, I don't know those people. I told you I live in the neighborhood. I'm a lender with Guild Mortgage, and I've gotten a lot of neighbors pre-approved, helped neighbors sell and relocate. And honestly, the reason for my call is I kind of want to ensure my neighbors, like my neighborhood value, and get it as high as I possibly can. You don't know me, I don't know you, so I know this is totally a cold call.
Yeah, but you're a neighbor. And I really like what you said right there at the end, which is I want to keep my neighborhood value up, because now you're telling me what's in it for you. It's not just you being a typical lender, like, hey, I want to help. And it's like realtors, they don't think they need our help.
Yeah. Well, hey, Dustin, thanks for debriefing me, or like, hey, let's say there's that pause and you're like, hey, man, that's cool. Then I would just go right into real quick. I mean, I know it's none of my business, but congratulations. Like, how did you get the listing? Because very few realtors get a congratulations. They have a fucking listing. Like, no one cares, but we can congratulate them. And then they can say, like, role play with me on it real quick. Hey, congrats again. How'd you get the listing?
It was actually a friend of a friend who happened to be a friend because I sold their house, and kind of doing a favor for them, because now that I got into it, I realized that it's as you know, it's been on the market for 42 days. It's been a tough one.
Yeah. Are the clients, are they relocating or are they staying here?
They're actually
I noticed the
relocating.
house was empty on the pictures.
Yeah, relocating, which is why I'm a lazy realtor, because I don't get anything on the other end when they buy the next house.
Gotcha. So maybe
I'm sorry, so many thoughts
Freddie,
are just coming.
Megan, you saw no pictures. It looks staged. You're not saying, well, I want to help them relocate and do their mortgage. Just, hey, what's in it? Dustin's going through some shit with his seller. Well, hey, Dustin, thanks for sharing that. I didn't want to take long. It's 10:30. I'm jumping to an appointment, but I'm not sure you're aware. I work for ABC Lending, and we've been doing some promotional stuff for listings with builders where we offer a 1.0 buy down that's paid by our company. We call it the unbutton our shirt a little bit for free. No, we call it the giveaway. We call it the free gift card. Ooh, like whatever it is, Megan. Obviously, it's discounted services and somebody wins, you lose, lower commission, whatever that, you can't give away 1% on a deal and somebody not lose. But if that's the offer, sounds pretty good. Like I run a branch. I'm like, why are we giving one? So Dustin, let me ask you, has anybody ever shown you that or offered that on any of your listings?
No, that'd be great.
Well, cool. Like I said, I'm running into an appointment. I'm so glad you answered. Would you be open to maybe grabbing coffee? I live like in the neighborhood. What part of town is your office in? My office is over on 8th Avenue.
I'm on 10th. I could walk over. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, like so my whole thing is boop, boop.
Nice.
Like, would you be available? Would you be open to? Would you be against looking at this? Maybe we could meet face to face.
Absolutely.
conversational, smile. Megan, you live in the neighborhood and this is your neighborhood equity saving program that you are on a mission to help any struggling listing agent with their relocating client that they're frustrated with.
Love it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Your tone's good. Now it's just like
Create
Dustin
more
said.
interest.
Yeah. Rebecca, when's the last time you met with a new realtor?
It's been a very long time.
Ooh.
I am mostly online calls, call center, work with the team also and help with operation side of stuff. So I'm kind of all over the place, but I do have some, repeat real estate agents that I work with. But I'm not actively going after. It's kind of like what other people had said. I kind of just do my job, and a lot of people will reach back out to me.
Mhm.
But I'm also in pretty much every state that Mutual of Omaha works with. So I'm across the country that kind of helps with reaching out, doing, the LO thing. So it's a little different.
A little different. Do you want to do local business?
I do, but I mean, I'm not out of Michael Anthony's office, but I have met with him and he's does focus on that. But yes, I do want to spend more time of trying to go after local business, but right now timing doesn't allow for me to get out of the office too much.
Mhm.
So,
Do you own a house?
yes.
Okay. Well, we just went through that whole role play with Megan, and we're almost out of time because we're supposed to stay at 30 minutes. Point being is, would you be against trying that in your market to meet realtors in your backyard?
Yeah, I mean, I do have a lot of neighbors that are real estate agents that decide, hey, they just like her, they reach out and say, let's meet for coffee or let's do that. Now, yeah, getting out of the office and away from my computer and my phone.
All right. Well, hey, listen.
In the morning, it typically works well because, before rates come out and things like that. But
Yeah.
I'm always, and that's why Dustin brought me on this, and just always looking for new ways to grow and feedback and to help the
Listen,
business.
our job is to always have referring sources that want to refer us.
Yes.
And in closing, every realtor meeting, once we get that meeting, Megan's now meeting with Dustin. It's that first date, and it can go 9,000 directions. There's buttons on either side of that realtor. And I think that as long as we're not trying to hit all the launch buttons and get all their business in that first meeting, and it's, what's your biggest struggle, what's going on, and then depending on where that meeting is, what it is you want to do. Like with the realtor that I met with yesterday, she came to the office. She was the buyer's agent on a deal where the clients were referred by a financial planner. She's a lawyer. She came here. She had to reschedule the first meeting. We had the first meeting yesterday. She was here for over an hour. I just heard her whole life story with her husband, her kids, kind of explained some stuff. And then really it boiled down to she works on her own. She doesn't have contract to close. She has one lender that does Tuesday updates. She likes that she gets updates, but she's totally open. And she gave me her card, and I showed her. I just kind of dusted the surface, and then we had to go. And now my follow-up is, all right, where do I think the biggest hole is in her business? And the one thing I heard from her is she really has no plan on working attorneys. She is an attorney.
Wow.
So my goal is to say, maybe today with Benton, he helps me with marketing, is Ashley, hey, yesterday was amazing. So glad you drove up to my office. Hope you had a great, because she had to go to this inspection. And then, hey, I think we should work on you having 30 attorneys that want to refer you their clients. And if you're open to it, what if we developed a plan that I helped you and not just, I heard what you want from a lender. I totally think I can do that. But I also want to, you're an independent agent. And if you're not married to your lender 100%, what if we tried this and this opened up a path for you for big referrals from, this isn't going to happen overnight. Would you be interested? Do you have the time to do that? Then maybe my hook is I've got her coming here once every 2 weeks, or we meet once a month, versus like, Megan, you had that person pursue you and send you 2 leads. That's amazing. A lot of times these meetings go well, and then it's like, well, now what? And like pretend you met with Dustin. It was pretty good. He was pretty busy. He had to jump. And then I said, hey, Megan, what about that Dustin guy you met like last month? What's up? Yeah, I haven't seen anything yet. Ring, ring. Hey, Dustin, it's Megan. Yeah. Hey, well, I was just checking in. Yeah. And I just wanted you like. Then we're like, wait, he hasn't done anything. What's our next hook? Okay,
Neither of us sounds like that at all, by the way.
Maybe a little.
Yeah. By the way,
Maybe a little.
Dustin's a stand-up comic. He's like, yeah, baby, what's up?
I'm sitting.
Okay, so here's a thought. Pause on this today. Number one, can we all commit to calling 3 or 4 new agents by Friday?
Done.
Yes, no? You, Rebecca?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Number 2, know what's in it for them. Maybe we just do this random in your own neighborhood call, and we all, Benton, we send out some results. But to me, Megan, you have a lot of bait on that, and there's probably 10 listings within 4 miles of your house that you don't know the agent, and you could hit 10 new calls in the next hour if you just drank a little Kool-Aid and said, you know what, I don't care if they say no or they hang up on me. What do I have to lose? I can help them sell that house. Bam, bam. Do it again. Because we all want to have agents call us and refer us 2 clients within 2 weeks, but that's not the reality of the business. All right. We're at 39 minutes.
Can I have
this
one more
helpful today?
little nugget real quick?
Sure. Let's
Mostly
close
to
with a little
defend
nugget.
myself about why I'm on MMI, but so some of us get list reports which tell us what agents are doing this and that.
Yeah.
The whole sending the survey responses and stuff that opened my eyes to a lot of different opportunities. So when I see something like I'm looking at this lady Judy, for example, and she did 3 million in January for a real estate agent. So all I'm doing is sending her a quick text. Hey, congrats on the great month. A lot like congrats on the listing, but that's it. And I leave it at that. And so I'm baiting some hooks right now. I don't know if it's going to work, but I have a feeling it's going to work.
So Dustin, you're doing that through list reports?
List reports is what triggers me to reach out to the agents. I already know, because you could spend hours scouring MMI and waste your time. Plus, I honestly think MMI is not very good. I don't know where they're getting their data. It's not
accurate. Yeah.
We got a
Right.
really good one for here.
Well,
in
list
Cal-
reports is great. Sorry, James.
Dino's got a different one than MMI here in California. It's pretty accurate.
Well, I think the courage to reach out, whatever the bait is, we're learning that everybody's a little different. And the bottom line is always think what's in it for them. Because if you're just a lender, just calling to check in and it gets a little stale, the likelihood, James, of that meeting happening is not good.
Oh no, I'm done with my model. I'm changing it up today.
Yeah, good. All right, guys.
One of these guys just responded back. He said, here's my profile picture. If you could put together some flyers that look like this. Gateway is our in-house lender, but I'm not using them. I'd rather work with you. Now I have to go and build some flyers. I have no idea how to build,
This is
but
a
okay,
cold
hey,
call?
awesome. He was a listing agent up in Arkansas for a deal I did last month, or this month, I guess.
Yeah, that begs a phone call. What happened with the lender, and why do you never want to work with him ever again?
100%.
And then, hey,
There's
man,
other angry agents in his office too. I guarantee.
Yeah.
It. Awesome, guys.
Cool. Dude,
All right. Great call today.
you know we are? We're just traveling salespeople looking for the next little hit to get motivated.
Mhm.
Appreciate
All
it.
right. Well, we didn't have Michael or Dino. I think I filled some big shoes today. I'm gonna send you guys my Venmo link. If you make all right.
I appreciate it.
See ya.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Thanks for